Hey everybody, how you doing? You're listening to the That's Fenta podcast for Thursday, January 18th, 2018. How you doing? What's going on? Yep. Just starting another podcast here, just like usual. Yeah. So, do you want to just get into it now? Huh? I guess we should get into it now. Well, this podcast is going to start with, I've been watching some videos here, and I found them very interesting. So, so I naturally had to comment on them. The good old what do you want to call it? The pussification of men nowadays. Why men today are such fucking pussies. Lord. Well, Jesus. Sorry, I'm like sending messages here to figure out why the hell. Oh, God. Come on now. Yeah, Sam. Yeah, that guy's actually dead. Why is he still on my wall? My little Facebooky funky fuck wall. Alright. Yep. Alright, well, let's actually start this damn thing. Anywho, so basically the whole little thing here is about who's to blame for the pussification of men nowadays in society, and unfortunately, this video here, or an author writing about this, is on Fox News talking about this, and who's to blame for the pussification of men, and it's men in society are becoming pussified, and it's feminism's fault. MGTOW. Another reason why I don't like, or at least subscribe to fucking MGTOW. I kind of respect them, but for the most part don't get the I cannot subscribe to their shit. MGTOW, that shit's everywhere. I mean, it's nice because it's like to counteract the whole, or to put balance with the whole feminism thing, but yeah, they're just so sucked into their own shit. Ugh, just like feminism. Don't subscribe to groups, people. Come on now. It's fucking pathetic to subscribe to groups. Like your sports teams, but don't treat your sports teams like you do your political parties or something. Jesus Christ. Ugh. Jesus Christ. But anyway, this dude's being interviewed about how the pussification started and all that shit. So yeah, yeah, so yeah, I'm trying to get to see if I can get my cousin onto this crap here. So yeah. Ugh. See if I can do it here. There we go. But it's on the pussification of men, blah blah blah. So yeah, this whole this whole pussification of America. I'm actually I'm really trying to buy time so I can get my cousin here, so I'm not like right in the middle of it. So until she starts doing her conversation thing, I'm gonna give her a couple minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Let's compromise. 2:30, 2.5 minutes before I start the whole video thing. So on that note, let's talk about something else. What have you guys seen Star Wars yet? This is such a rough start to the podcast. It's so bad. Oh man. Oh boy. But let's see if we can get cousin here. But yeah, it's such a rough start. But yeah, there's have you guys seen Star Wars? I haven't seen it yet. I'm planning on it, but apparently there's so many people trashing that Star Wars movie. It's too Disney, apparently. It was too open-ended. It was too I mean, I can't keep up with all these fucking complaints. There we go. All right, cousin. All right, there we go. So now that cousin is listening, and she did it in like 1 minute and 20 seconds, so she has 1 minute to spare. All right, anywho. So anyway, I was listening to put my cuz here up to date. I was listening to some videos, just the whole YouTube spiral thing. And one of them was this guy went on. This is for Trina, not for you, my cousin. This is so he was being interviewed on men and why the pussification of men has started, how it started, why is it there, and whose fault is it? Why are men such pussies, and whose fault is it? And this guy's answer is feminism. And usually I like blaming feminism for a lot of stuff, but this is not even close to what needs to be blamed, or who needs to be blamed for the pussification of men. So let's start this cutesy little interview. It's only 4 minutes long, so yeah, I would like to break down this little interview. So yeah, here we go with this dude's interpretation on why men are such pussies. Feminism. Here we go. And goofy little soundtrack.
Going on, guys? So I don't care.
Fuck off.
Are becoming flowing around.
Get it? You have your own intro.
You want me to help you do the dishes?
Oh, come on. You know what? No.
Shut up.
Do the dishes.
Why would I want to do dishes?
Excuse me. Well, our next guest says men are no longer allowed to be men, and he says that's dangerous territory.
That's right, Clayton. Joining us is the author of American Boomerang, which comes out in July, Nick Adams. Good morning.
Nice to see you.
G'day, good to see you guys. How you doing?
So you're from Australia, and so people are raising the question, why in the world does it take a foreigner to come into the United States to tell us that American men are on the decline? What is happening to American men?
Well, it's not just American men, Clayton. It's men all around the world. I mean, even in Australia, we've gone from wrestling with crocodiles to wrestling with lattes. But it's a phenomenon that is, I think, very dangerous, and it's having a very adverse effect on men right around the world. And American men are, of course, very susceptible to it. It's really important, particularly in America, given the leadership role that America has in the world,
Sure.
that American men be men.
Right. Well, is this in direct relation to feminism on the rise? Is it a result of just sort of society seeing men that are not as masculine and men that are as masculine being kind of demonized?
Elizabeth, you've hit the nail on the head. It is feminism. And basically what feminism has delivered is
Wrong.
angry women and feminine men. And it emerges from this mindset that a lot of women have unfortunately bought into, this destructive idea that men prevent them from being able to achieve their goals. And from the left, from the politically correct, we have all these attacks on men. It's a very hard time to be a man in today's society.
You gave an interview with the Daily Caller in which you said this. I think this sums up nicely. You said all aspects of male culture have been called into question, whether it's gathering around on a Sunday afternoon to watch football with a few friends, whether it's going to the range and shooting some guns, whether it's just being a male has now been really made suspect. Is it because we've sort of whitewashed the differences between the genders? That is that, you know what, men, no, we just need to be more like women. And we just need to make everyone neutral territory now.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what's happened. And we've reached a point now where men, when they want to make a decision, when they want to speak up at a meeting, when they want to say something, they're sweating more than Paris Hilton doing a crossword. I mean, they really feel uncomfortable.
That would be...
And whose fault is that?
difficult.
Do you see this affecting national security, how a nation operates in terms of being a strong presence globally?
Absolutely, without a doubt. I think it has wide-ranging implications. Wimps and wussies deliver mediocrity, and men win. And what America's always been about is winning. So I think it's pivotal to the health of a country.
So how do we teach our children to be who they are? How do we teach our boys to be boys and our girls to be girls without fitting them into these stereotypes?
Well, we crush this mindset that seeks to squash male tendencies, that seeks to squelch male activities, and we encourage our boys and to become great men, and we also try and educate everybody about the importance of being a manly man as opposed to an effete, urbane metrosexual.
And has Australia escaped this?
Not at all. Not at all. We have the precise problem that America's got. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and we've got to defeat it.
We're working on it together.
Absolutely.
Nick Adams, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Certainly enjoy your writing.
If they smoke, I'm turned.
All right. So yeah, you just heard that dismissive interview, and again, I think feminism is third wave feminism is pretty freaking bad. But one thing I will not blame feminism for is the pussification of men, and the main point here that they push the blame on feminism and they make men the victims. This guy made men the victims of feminism. Though there are cases of this, blah, 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 but this is definitely not one. This guy said when a man wants to speak up and all that stuff, he's worried about criticism. You know, really, that's just being a human being. That's just being a human being. What the cause of pussification of men is that men don't speak up when their female partner, a female in general, says something or pushes them or jabs at them or tries to change them or tries to fix them or says something that's wrong or belligerent or slanderous, etc., etc. When it comes to your friend, wife, any of those categories, is that they don't push back, and then rather than that, they blame a group on that. It's ridiculous to blame feminism on why men don't tell women, hey, yeah, what you just said there was completely ridiculous. Yeah, no, that's not how it works with me, and no, that's how I will not be treated. You know, the standard of men is being compromised, not because of feminism, it's because of men are just being misguided in the fact that they don't want to look at the real problem, which is the fact that they are the problem. Men are the reason why men are such pussies nowadays, because every human being on earth, every woman has been pressured and pushed and screwed over and manipulated by men. Vice versa, blah, 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 races, genders, sexual orientation, blah, blah, blah. We get it. The pussification of men is because of men, because they do not, in any way, shape, or form, push back and say, yeah, don't talk to me like that. I'll give you an example. One good old time back when I was dating a genius as far as lunacy goes and manipulation goes is I was dating this lady, and she was I pushed back on a we had a fight about, I mean, we had so many fights, it's so hard to keep track nowadays, especially since it was, years ago. But we had a fight about how she was talking to me and how she was treating me. She was very dismissive of me, blah blah blah, boo-hoo. And so I was simply saying, hey, yeah, that's not cool. Don't treat me like that. Don't talk to me like that. I'm sick of you treating me like that. And she did the typical thing where she pouts and goes outside of the apartments and goes to the stairs that are, many feet away, and does her little pouty thing. And I told her I was done. I'm done. I'm done with you treating me like garbage. I'm done with you being dismissive of me. I'm done with all that. I'm done. You've done this ever since I've known you. Damn near ever since I've known you. And you don't respect my feelings. You don't respect my thoughts. You don't respect me as a person. You don't respect me as a man. You don't respect me in any way, shape, or form. You are completely abusive and dismissive of me, and I'm done. And what she said right after that, and she knew it was true, which is when someone doesn't completely, especially with ladies, maybe I'm being sexist here, but when a guy is on point about something is when a woman doesn't talk about what you said directly, because women are in just if I were to put odds on a man argument or a female argument, I would take the woman's side all the time because they are the best at it. We're good at punching shit and being physical. We're better at that than women are. We're just bigger and stronger. Men are just better at that, typically. Unless you meet a Ronda Rousey, then she'll armbar you and snap your femur in half, whatever. But that's the outlier right there. But when it comes to women, when it comes to arguments and manipulation verbally, women tend to be better at it. And especially when women show breaks into it when it comes to not being on point about the said topic that you're talking about, like what I just mentioned. You treat me poorly, you are very dismissive of me, blah, blah, blah. And her thing was, well, just leave just like the rest of everybody, just like everybody else left me. That's a big desperation manipulative move there. And what did I do? Rather than looking her straight in the face and saying, how dare you say something like that, and you were completely wrong, and all the other shit that I could have said, blah, blah, blah. What I did was sit there for another 10 minutes talking about how I'm not going to leave her and blah, blah. Just that is an example of men allowing themselves to be pussified. It's not feminism or women's fault. It's men. It's men's fault. It's completely and utterly men's fault of why they are viewed as or looked at or maybe even pussified is because they allowed themselves to be pussified. And all the arguments that heterosexual couples, let's keep it oppressive and exclusive, right? That all the arguments that heterosexual couples have is that I've noticed that when the guy's wrong, women do not bounce around and talk about your mother or whatever. They stay on point. When you talk like an asshole to them or you're dismissive of them, they stay on point. They talk to you about how the fact that you disrespected them in front of their friends, nonetheless. They stay on point. But when you know they're wrong, they make desperate attempts to either beat around the bush or make you be the bad guy. It's just women doing their thing. It's just humans doing the thing. I mean, men do the same thing, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's just, we're not that good at it. At least, maybe just not me. I don't know. But it's it's definitely not feminism's fault. I mean, such a weak argument. Such a weak argument to do that. It's your fault. You need to. It's just, and I found it ironic that this guy was blaming feminism, and he wasn't even taking responsibility. So I felt it was very ironic to have him talk about the pussification of men, and yet he was not taking responsibility, which is what weak people do. Which is what kids do, not adults do, is they don't take responsibility. Ridiculous. Completely and utterly ridiculous. So, I go back to what I've always said for years, is that men and women are different, at least almost always different in this aspect. Women by nature take being protected differently than men do. Protection with men is not physical protection like women. Like women need men to physically protect them. Not that they can't do it themselves, but they at least need that. That's a big thing with them, naturally. And yes, I don't need that. Okay, you're the outlier. Good for you. But typically, women need that man to be strong and defend them. Because if they don't, that's not a real good case for relevancy here. Because women value protection. Women value honesty, sure, yes. But women value safety, protection. And some of that protection is money, stability, and physicality. Don't let people run over you. If your girl sees you being pushed over, especially if she lets you, if you let her push you over, bitch you around, and you bow down to her in arguments, she is not going to respect you or feel safe with you, because you are contradicting her entire survival. No way, shape, or form is that woman ever going to respect you, let alone feel safe that she can actually push you around. That's what women value. Men value loyalty. Loyalty as in the fact that, yes, you are a woman. Yes, you have this one of the most valuable, if not the most valuable thing on earth, which is the vagina. And not to sound crass, crude, so just bear with me here before you go blogging or, go turning it off, because it's just bear with me here. Is that, look at this. I mean, do women buy drinks to get laid? No. Do men buy drinks to get laid? Yes. Do women have to buy anything on a date to get laid? No, they do not. Men do. We have to do these things because this is what women like. This is what society's pushed on us, whatever shape or form you like. That's one of those ego things that men have to push on women and vice versa. And this is one of the power struggles that we as a society push on each other. I got all this money. I got all this. I can protect you. I can pay for you. This is just how society runs right now. But loyalty is the fact that you won't abuse the fact that you got the most sacred and most sought after thing on earth, which is vagina. Dick is like Chris Rock said, pussy costs money, dick is for free. It is so true. It's hilarious and true. Of course, I'd have to be Chris Rock to deliver that funny, but it's the song remains the same. The song remains the same. So, anywho, no woman on earth would feel safe with a guy that they can push around. It's just so true, and that's one reason why the last relationship with me didn't work. And then, please, for the love of God, don't do this whole sappy. It's not how it works. It's a long time ago. I just admitting my faults. She did not feel safe with me because I let her puss me up. Thank God it was a long time ago, but still. Again, the song remains the same. You have to stand up. I remember there's actually one instance. This was many years ago. This was actually when I was in school. I remember when my exes in middle school, high school days. I remember this one chick was giving me shit, and I called her out in front of the class. I guess I have to tell the story because to actually make it funny. Oh my God! Actually, Trina, you know this person. I forgot about that. You know this person. Oh man, I forgot. Trina, you're actually friends with this person. Not my ex, but the person I called out in front of 8th grade class. Oh boy. Well, you want to learn something about your friend? Well, here you go. If you're still with us. Well, anywho, I was in 8th grade, and my ex in 8th grade or whatever, she just dumped me or whatever it was. It'd been a few months or whatever it was. And anywho, we were doing this like Civil War history. It was history class, and it was a Civil War thing, and for some reason, our teacher did this like group thing to where you would have to hire like a general that was in charge, and I really don't remember the context of it, but I knew that there was one person that he selected of the group that would be the person in charge, and part of the person that was in charge is if someone in your group was out of line to the student's leader perspective or what have you, they could tell them to go outside and walk the line, which is basically what soldiers did. They'd carry their musket and just walk back and forth in front of the lines or in front of the door or whatever. And that's what we did. We had this like goofy little stick that you'd have to carry. And this dude, Forrest Marler, never forget his name, and even your friend Jasmine would remember that. Name dropping. Jasmine would remember that. Maybe. So yeah, I was told to go outside, and so I had to do the thing. And I carried the stick. I was just like using it as a blind person, just like, poking around and stuff. And Jasmine, a few minutes later, opened up the door and said, "Hey, the teacher said, hey, stupid, you need to hold it up to your shoulder because that's how they did it." But yeah, she was very, very douchey about it. And I was like, "Whoa, wow, okay, what the hell was that about?" And then she closed the door immediately. And so I did the whole thing, walked around, and then a few minutes later I was told that I can go in. And then as I opened the door, I walk in, and Jasmine was like, and at the time I had braces for like a couple months, and she made a bunch of jokes about it, blah, 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 about the braces and stuff. So yeah, as I walked in the door, make the first couple steps, she said in front of the entire class, something to the effect of, "Hey, Braceface, how was that walk?" Or whatever it was. "Hey, Braceface, how was the whatever?" Something to that effect. And I said, "Shut the fuck up, you stupid anorexic bitch," in front of the entire class. And the whole like laughing and the scowling, blah, blah, blah happened and all that stuff. So that was part of your friend's little history right there. I just had to mention that. It's fucking hilarious. Oh, God, that was funny. Oh, that was good. That was like the only time that I was ever a badass in school. And the point being is that my ex told me later that she was so turned on by that because of the fact that I put that chick in her place, and I was, authoritative and all that crap, and there's a reason why women like that type of authority or that type of control or that type of just lack of submissiveness. It's not dominance or anything like that, more so. It's just lack of submissiveness, not being pushed around. So, fellas, that's why you don't. It's not feminism's fault. It's your fault. Don't be a bitch. That's the problem. If a chick at the bar is being douchey to you, call her out on it. or whatever scenario it is. If it's your wife or your girlfriend or whatever, call her out on it. Don't be a bitch and just, okay, you're right. Because, I mean, at that point, I almost justify women cheating on their fucking husbands or boyfriends. Like, dude, they want a man that's not gonna fucking be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. Don't let them push you around. I'm not talking about fucking knocking the men out like fucking Ray Rice. I'm talking about just don't be a douche and let them walk over you. No, not even human beings respect that. It's not, but it's just different. It's just different. Women just do not like a guy they can push around. All right, I beat that fucking horse, Dad. All right, so now I'm gonna go on to the good old Me Too movement. All right. And the good old Me Too movement. And, of course, the Me Too movement has done a lot of good things, like get Harvey Weinstein's rapey ass from multiple charges, got his ass fired, and called out a bunch of other people, well, men, for it. But so there's a lot of relevancy with this movement, but this is where I do blame feminism. This is the time, if you want to do compare and contrast, or the yin and the yang, this is where you can blame feminism. But again, in the end, it's men or people that have to call out these people and saying, hey, it's not how the whole Me Too movement is too segregated. It's not how life works. There's also another side to it. This being the whole Aziz Ansari, who is a self-proclaimed male feminist. This self-proclaimed male feminist was accused of sexual misconduct or sexual assault by some bitch that he fucking dated. So not even male feminists that are brown are safe. That's how much the liberal social justice warrior side of things is. I swear to God, they're fucking cannibals. It's hilarious to watch. And again, I'm not right, left, in between, whatever. I'm nothing. I hate both sides. Their tribalism, it stinks. But still, I have to mention, the religious right back in the day was awful when it comes to art and music. Anything with that, because they love to say that video games and metal music and rap and all that stuff was responsible for murder and all that stuff like that. Now the leftists are doing it, and the social justice warriors are doing it now. And now, product of that is the Me Too movement. Started off good, just like feminism did, and now it's gone awry. So here we go. And I want to listen. I haven't watched this video fully, so I want to listen to The View. Always very equal, right? So I want to hear this whole Me Too, The View thing on the Aziz Ansari false rape allegations. Just here we go. So let's listen to this dog shit.
Getting more complicated. A woman calling herself Grace says that actor Aziz Ansari is guilty of sexual misconduct because he didn't pick up on her nonverbal cues, that she didn't want to really have sex, but she ended up doing sexual acts on him, but she says that she was not comfortable with it.
She still ended up doing something of the sorts of the things, something kind of... Okay, you can already hear right off the bat about how this situation is... What would you call it? Shady? He didn't see my verbal cues. My verbal cues. Is this like a stereotype of the whole women want demanding that their men read their minds, which every woman on fucking planet Earth is guilty of? The ratio that they're or the amounts that they're guilty of is irrelevant. It's just still, they're so guilty of it. Men are guilty of many things too. We'll get into that another time. But this is one thing. It's going to be towards the ladies right now. But reading your minds I mean, dating has become a fucking gamble. You think back in the day when dating was a gamble, is like, is this person going to call me? Or is this going to actually become something that's going to be relevant? Or am I just wasting my time? And now it's becoming to where dudes have to worry about, hey, is this consensual sexual act going to be me going into jail for false rape accusations? It's ridiculous. I mean, how did we stray so far? It's because of feminism. Well, yeah, but to be honest, it's because of men and women actually that aren't feminists, not actually putting these people in the place as much as they should. It's about the volume. It's about the voice. The collective voice. You gotta let people know your take on it. So here we go. So apparently Aziz Ansari didn't read her physical attribute, her how she carried herself. He didn't read that, so now he's a rapist.
Says that everything seemed okay and consensual, but he was surprised and concerned that this wasn't the case for her, and he's taking it to heart. So the question then becomes, for me at least, what is a nonverbal cue? This may be something that young women discuss, so I'm going to throw this to, not that you're not young, but I'm throwing it to the younger of the two of us. Yes.
So I have to tell you, this exploded on the internet over the weekend, and we follow the Me Too campaign very closely. We talk about sexual assault a lot on this show. We're all supporters of the Me Too campaign. I worked at Fox News. I have a lot of, not experience with sexual harassment, but I was in an environment where obviously everyone knows that whole story. This one in particular, and this seems like a lot of landmines talking about this on TV, but this one in particular, I have a lot of questions.
Start with what is a nonverbal, if you can answer this, because I didn't understand it when I read it.
I don't know what that means either, but
I don't know what that means either. Yeah, makes sense. This is another thing to where regret is not rape type of thing. So it seemed like this might be part of yet another thing to where regret is not rape. Where regret is rape, especially on college campuses, where the groups and the peoples feel that the regret is rape. Well, if you're a woman and you feel regret, that is rape. So, Mattress Girl is one of them, mind you. Look up Mattress Girl. Anybody? Mattress Girl? Know who Mattress Girl is? Regret is rape thing. So, yeah, just look her up, where the whole regret is rape thing comes from. So, yeah, just look at that and the millions of examples of college females that did the whole, we both were drunk, had sex, I regretted it. We had consensual sex, but now I regret it. Or in the middle of it, I regret it, but didn't say anything or do anything. All right. So, here we go.
Talk for a living. I also, every time I've been in and again, I don't want to shame her because every experience is different, but every sexual situation I've been put in was on my terms. I come from a very empowered family. My mother taught me a lot of things when I was growing up. I have been trying really hard to understand this one because they went on a date, they still performed sexual acts, and she was saying... On each other, both of them. And she was saying that he didn't pick up on her non-verbal cues.
Yeah, which I don't
understand. Me, verbal cues are important as well. Saying no is important, but I don't want to shame her, and there's a lot of women coming to her defense, but I'm really mixed and quite honestly confused on this one.
Listen, consent is always...
How are you mixed? Verbal cues. What did she do? What are verbal cues? Because I've been with a lady, and her verbal cues were, distance and all that stuff, and I got them. I'm not saying all guys get them, all women do that, blah, 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 but what are verbal cues? Like, what type of verbal cues was this particular person giving off? I don't know. Verbal cues. Verbal cues, physical cue. I don't know.
It's a very very difficult thing, right? When is no, no? When is yes, yes? And it's something that when you prosecute these kinds of cases, it comes up all the time. When you're talking about nonverbal consent, it's you're not saying no verbally, but you're doing that sort of thing.
But I think you
almost have to be a mind reader to some.
Well, you can't.
Yeah,
that seems to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah.
Because now this means, so if you're on a date and he's not as good as you thought, and you're uncomfortable, and you go, does that mean stop, get out, go away?
Well, that's the problem with those nonverbal
cues. But whatever happened to stop, or I'm going to knock you in your nuts?
Or just I don't want to be here. I mean,
I want to go.
What's troubling when you look at the text message exchange, and I think everyone should. He reaches out to her after their date and says, it was a pleasure meeting you. And then she says to him, I was very uncomfortable. I went home crying. And he responds, oh my goodness. I'm paraphrasing here, but I didn't realize. I had no idea. I'm so sorry you had that experience. So there clearly was a missing piece there for both of them. But the question is this really sexual assault? I can tell you it's not a case I'd bring to trial.
I don't think.
Yeah. Well, it was her fault that she didn't verbalize or make it clear, which is verbalize no. Well, she didn't. No means no. No, it's for some reason there's this weird vagueness to where no means no is somehow just completely and utterly like a vague thing to guys. Now, mind you, I've hung out with some people that have shared their experiences about how guys thought that they should try harder and just pursued more, and that was pretty rapey. Yeah, pretty fucking rapey. Pretty fucking rapey. So those guys right there are disgusting creatures. But on the other hand, with that aside, with that situation being clear, in my personal opinion, there's another side to it, to where if you do the shoulder shruggy, that's, I don't know. Some women like guys trying harder. Some women want guys to be more attentive. Some guys try that. It's really weird to think that sexual consent is so vague right now. It's really weird.
Because she voluntarily went with him back to his apartment. They did engage in sexual activity consensually, and then somewhere along the lines, she decided that she had enough and she wanted to go home.
And did he try to stop her from
He did not. In fact, he called the Uber for her. So
but my
it's a
understanding,
tough,
too, is with the Me Too
tough
campaign,
one.
it's about power and men being in power and using their power to...
And so... men using their power. Okay, I'm gonna rewind it here because they're about to talk about some really serious stuff. So it's about power and all this stuff like that. But she willingly did all these things, and I get the whole I was in a private room, I was by myself, I was in this corner, blah blah blah. Very very relevant, very scary. And one thing I heard that was very very interesting and very relevant. It was I forgot what guy it was, but the whole Me Too movement and just the whole sexual misconduct, sexual assault, rape, all that stuff is for how men can understand how women feel, typically, generally, whatever, is okay. Put yourself in the woman's spot. So you're this woman. Just imagine if you were on if you were on her side, and then a guy walked in who was 6 inches taller than you, maybe 60, 40, 100 pounds bigger than you, and they wanted to do these sexual things and just said, hey, I want to do these things, and what are you going to do? Fight your way through it? And that imprisonment, that oppression that women feel during that thing was really eye-opening. It's that's a pretty good argument. It's a very good argument. I couldn't imagine. Well, I could, but it's easy to speculate. But it's like, what would you do in that situation where you're in a room where it was just one door, and a big old motherfucker was just like, "Hey, I'm gonna do this. I want to do this." In the most like blatant and just like vulgar ways, not everyday scenario type of things. But still, there's a power dominance when it comes to physicality, when it comes to men towards women. We're just physically bigger, typically. And again, to do a little callback to where the guy was blaming feminism for why men are pussified. Well, I would like to maybe see what it's to see what would it sound like, what people think about when it comes to women taking responsibility for not saying no. Again, I'm not saying all the women that have said no and it happened anyway and all this really awful, just spine-breaking, heartbreaking, disgusting, evil things, scenarios where the woman said no and it happened anyway. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about where the woman did not verbally let the person know that they are not interested, they're done, they're not comfortable, they want to stop. Why can't we explore that to where women need to take responsibility for their actions? And for some reason, especially with feminists, it's like you're saying, "Oh, you were raped in an alley by 3 people, and you wore a skirt. That's why. What'd you expect?" They in the media, the liberal media does this so much. It's like, no, it's that has no bearing on what's going on with these scenarios, like this scenario right here. It's not even close. So let's rewind to where a good point was going to be being by John McCain's granddaughter, great-great-granddaughter. That fucker's old. But got her right here on The View.
She wanted to go home.
And did he try to stop her from
He did not. In fact, he called the Uber for her. So
my
it's a
understanding
tough,
too is with the Me Too
tough
campaign,
one.
it's about power and men being in power and using their power to sexually pressure women at work, in social situations. The Harvey Weinstein cases are very cut and dry. And now we're heading into this territory where I feel like the goalposts are being moved. And quite frankly, I had this conversation where I have...
She isn't.
He's famous and wealthy, but does that mean if you are famous and wealthy, you're not allowed to date someone who's not famous and wealthy? I'm a hell of a lot more famous than my husband. No offense to him, but does that mean that you should
we have
only...
a famous guy here. What do you think?
Well,
It's hard.
I don't know. I'm trying to listen, which is what I think men should be doing right now. I think they should be listening to the conversation. I think.
nonverbal cues that she didn't want to really have sex, but she ended up...
Cunt. Stop. Okay, I have to stop here because that response pissed me off so much and so dismissive and so arrogant and ignorant, especially. God, it's where men need to listen. And well, what about being the voice and listening? Also, wait, being the voice. I gotta restart this shit because that shit was fucking bananas. And this is the whole point of like claiming that this rape and sexual assault stuff is about only women being the victims. It's not even close. Oh, God.
To him, but does that mean that you should
we have
only...
a famous guy here. What do you think? It's hard.
I don't know.
Okay, look at again, another callback. Look at the pussification of men. The pussification of men. This is it right here. This guy right here. Totally just, I hope this guy redeems himself, because this is fucking terrible. I really hope this guy fucking redeems himself here, because this shit was fucking awful. Was awful. If you were to say about a specific scenario, a very specific scenario, like the Harvey Weinstein stuff, and when we're talking about it, and he said, well, men need to listen, I would say 100% yes they do. 100% men need to listen about women's plight with Harvey Weinstein. Yes they do. 100%. But this isn't about Harvey Weinstein being a complete and utterly puke evil person towards women. This is about a woman false sexual assault, misconduct allegations towards a guy who did nothing towards her. This is where women need to listen, not men. We all need to be part of this conversation, but women especially need to fucking listen when it comes to this shit. Completely ridiculous. Ugh. Okay, so I'm going to replay this. I hope this guy's not a pussy whipped cock. Ugh. God damn, this is so annoying. How do you solve rape if a bunch of fucking men or women are being pussies and not, like, expressing themselves honestly through these situations? Ugh. Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to listen, which is what I think men should be doing right now. I think they should be listening to the conversation. I think... you know, if you get into a place of mind reading, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
It's not going to work out for anybody if we're expected to read your mind.
Yeah, no.
I promise you that, especially in a sexual encounter.
Yeah.
You know, with the harassment thing, I mean, people have to be allowed to date, famous or not.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. I don't think she works in show business or works for him or directly in a relationship. I don't think he has the power.
It was a date.
She's a photographer.
It's not the power. It's a date.
It's a date.
But again, there's nothing I can say that's going to contribute much to this that we all don't already know.
Yeah.
So
But
listen.
from a guy's perspective, consent. That's a tough one, isn't it?
Nonverbal. It's very tricky.
Yeah.
You're asking a lot. Nonverbal is just too vague. I think you have to be verbal.
Yeah.
And once no is established, then it's established.
It may sound...
Whew, oh, thank God. Okay. Whew, thank God. Thank Christ. Whew, okay, saved yourself. Whew. Okay.
Non-liberated too, but when I first started dating, my mom told me, I can specifically remember this conversation, that if you want to sleep with a man, make sure you're ready and know that if you go back to his house or apartment alone, he will probably assume that's what you want to do. And apparently even saying that makes me not liberated or makes me not a feminist, and I just don't, it's confusing for me now what the expectations are. And for me, I've always had the luxury of knowing my sexual boundaries and what I was comfortable with and when. I've also had the luxury of being with men who also respected me. This story I have been told by many of my girlfriends. They've had similar experiences in this way. But I'm concerned about what this does to the Me Too movement. And I'm also freaked out about talking about this on television because I think there's going to be a huge backlash against people who even dare to question things like nonverbal.
As they should. Again, women, about people questioning this, that's what she just said. About people questioning, that's what you should do. Question. Don't just sit there and bow down. Good Lord. Who respects you if you don't question? Just take it? That's... The Me Too movement is not as pure as it sounds. The feminist movement is not as pure as it sounds. Back in the day it was. Not anymore.
Well,
But here's the thing: if we can't ask questions, then we can't get answers. So you can't just come at people who are saying, "Listen, I don't understand this," because I grew up in a totally different thing. My mom said 125,000 years ago, listen, if you go to a guy's apartment and something does happen, it's going to be a lot harder for you to say, listen, this is what happened, because he can say, no, it didn't. So if you're not interested in that position, if you don't want that, then don't do that. And it's okay if he doesn't like you anymore or doesn't want to date you anymore. So you make the decision. If you're looking for that, then, it's quite possible you could get it if you go. But if you're not looking for that, chances are you might want to just say, it's been nice seeing you this evening.
It's interesting because Whoopi Goldberg is so, biased. I don't care or whatever, but it's just, I tend to agree with Whoopi's gender stuff because she talked about the Ray Rice thing, and she said you cannot expect, and because she was one of the very, very few people, especially women, to say during the Ray Rice thing, the whole Ray Rice elevator thing and all that stuff, and the stuff leading towards the elevator and stuff, like, you cannot expect men to be so chivalrous if you're hitting them and being so violent towards them, spitting on them. You cannot expect men. And and to keep it even more basic in her quotes is that people should not hit anybody. And she mentioned that 1,000 times over. And what did her dumb fucking cunt fucking colleagues say? Men shouldn't hit women. There's no reason for a man to hit a woman. Really? Don't hit me. Don't spit at me. Don't smack me. Don't punch at me. Don't try to kick me. Don't try to kick me in my groin 100 times. Don't fucking punch me. Don't come after me. Don't charge at me like you're wanting to fucking take my head off. Then I won't hit you. I won't defend myself. For some fucking reason, a woman doing what Ray Rice's wife did, which is spit at him, smack him before he even laid a hand on her. For some reason, this Ray Rice thing is completely skewed to where, you knocked the bitch out. Nope. She smacked him heading to the elevator. There's video evidence of this. She smacked him multiple times heading to the elevator. She spit at him and smacked him again when they're in the elevator. When he smacked at her, bopped her, or punched her, whatever, mushed her, whatever it was. During that mushing punch or whatever that he did towards her, after he hit her, she hit him multiple times and spit at him. He bopped her, backed up, she smacked at him, pushed her away, and then she charged at him, and that's when she got knocked out. Whoopi Goldberg was a person that said, I don't like it, it's not cool, but do not expect or demand that men are so chivalrous, because we live in different times. If a woman starts doing that shit to men, they're more likely gonna hit back, and rightfully so, blah blah blah. But point is, nobody hit anybody. That's what she said 1,000,000 times. Nobody hit anybody. Don't touch people. Don't punch people. Don't spit at them. Don't smack at them. Nobody hit anybody. She's so clear and equal about the whole gender thing when it comes to violence, typically. But when it comes to race, she's not that great. But she's proven her case as far as her being, I think, equal when it comes to the gender the gender debate and gender equality and all that crap. But here we go.
Say this: date rape is a real thing,
Oh,
though.
yeah, of course.
And that's something else.
But
that
Sonny,
we have to take into consideration.
nobody's talking about date rape. This is
See,
not a
this is
case
what I
of
mean.
date
I'm
rape.
not talking
This
about
is
date
not-
rape. I'm just asking questions.
I just want to make it clear that that's not
I got
what we're
married
talking
2
about.
months
that it
ago. I
doesn't exist.
dated a lot. I haven't been married 20 years like you. And I'm just saying that this is confusing for me.
Yes.
And I was saying all weekend, thank God I'm married, because I don't understand it, and it doesn't mean I think I don't want anyone to misconstrue this. I don't think date rape's okay. I don't think assault's okay. I don't think just because
no
you're
one is
alone
saying
with a
that.
man.
Nobody-
How brave. She doesn't think date rape is good. Oh, good for you. You know what? I don't think slavery is good. Oh, aren't I an honorable man? Yeah, I have to say this though, for the record, the Holocaust. I don't agree with it. Idiot.
Somebody is saying that at the table.
Credence to date rape you or to harass you or to sexually harass you in any way. I just have questions about this specific story.
And I worry where the line.
See, again, this is what I hate. It's segregated towards women being harassed. I've been sexually harassed, insulted by women. Why don't they fucking talk about this shit? They need to talk about this. Talk about it. You want gender equality? Talk about the other side too. Jesus. Don't put guys that will just, it's bad. Yeah. No. Put dudes on that have the same shit that you have towards men as he has towards women. Make the shit actually fucking relevant as far as at least having the discussion about evil people or just shitty people or screwed up people or whatever it is, and it being genderly equal. Ugh, stupid.
Because I'm raising a teenage boy and I'm raising a young girl, and I do wonder, where is the line now?
The line is very, very clear. If you are not interested in having a physical relationship, or you don't want to do that, you don't want to have a makeout session, then say goodnight after dinner.
Oh, well, whoopee. That's just, no. How do you, because the man has such dominance and oppression over women. Really? Take responsibility for your action, ladies. Just like men should when it comes to pussification of men. It's not all men's fault. It's not all women's fault. Stop it. It's not our fault the fact that you did all these things, took our money, blah, 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 went back home with us when you could have taken a cab, when you could have left, when you could have said thank you and left. Are you really think he's going to drag you and rape you in the middle of a fucking restaurant? No. Stop it. Stop making these fucking excuses.
Say goodnight after dinner. Don't go to their apartment, because it is quite possible that you going to someone's apartment may make them feel that you are comfortable with this. If you know that you're not comfortable with this or you're not looking for this, perhaps wait till the second date.
Yeah, because I would assume, not the whole sex thing, at least for me, if I go on a date with a stranger, virtually a stranger, come on, let's face it, anybody you go on a date with, on a first date with, almost all those situations, they're fucking strangers. Which is one reason why no man or woman should ever pay for that person's side, ever. Just keep it simple. You pay for your end, pay for my end. And if you're the chivalrous woman and he's the chivalrous, or if you're the guy that likes to pay for a woman and you're the woman that likes being paid for it, then that works. But you need to communicate the fact that you want to be pampered and you want him to pamper you and that you like pampering women, blah, blah, blah. But still, don't pay for shit. Don't go to the apartment. Don't offer the apartment. Don't go to the apartment.
What if you want to go out to his apartment but you just want to kiss?
Then say no when I still believe in her. Tell him that.
Tell him that. Tell him. Just verbally. We'll be right back.
See, again, yeah, just tell him that. No, for some reason we have this, 50 Shades of Rape fucking fantasy to where we just want to keep things secret and so mysterious and so seductive and so, ooh, where's this going to go? This is what gets us in trouble to where we want to just, keep things a mystery until it happens type of thing. Oh, am I the only one that's fucking faced this shit or dealt with this stuff before? Nope. If you're an adult and you want to start dating seriously, you let the guy know, hey, I just want to go up to your place. Maybe we kiss a little bit or whatever, even though it's still kind of gray. But still, I just want to hang out, see your place a little bit, get acquainted. But that's all that's going to happen. Maybe we'll kiss her a little bit, but I do not want to have any sexual interaction with you at all. Maybe some kissing or whatever, but that's it. That's my standard. That's what I'm going to live with. Is it that simple? No, which makes it even more gray because, when you're all hot and heavy and things escalate and male manipulation kicks in and female manipulation kicks in, it just works differently for other people. It just works for other people. I don't know. We literally just talked about fucking rape for 66 minutes. Or 66 minutes actually, yeah. Jesus. If anybody watched most of this or listened to most of this, you are a fucking trooper. Jesus. Which, to be fair, I doubt that most of you listen, but still, just listening to this for 10 minutes in general. Because for some reason, talking about it and doing all these like little social talks about rape and all that stuff like that's fine. But when it comes to watching it on a movie, like the chick with the dragon tattoo movies or whatever, Hills Have Eyes, I cannot watch that shit. Ugh. But anyway. Oh, God. Goofy shit. Wow. Ugh. Goofy shit. I don't know. But I'm curious. What do you guys think of the Me Too movement? What do you think of this Aziz Ansari situation? I mean, I don't know. What do you think of the whole pussification of men? What do you think? I'm curious. You fuckers out there, just let me know. You have a voice too. I'm just curious. What do you think? So I'm not the only asshole that's talking about it. I cannot be the only asshole that's talking about it. Cannot be the only one talking about it. It's too boring. So, on that note, I'm heading out. You have a good one. Good night, you cunts.